going to be talking about the wisdom of forgiveness. Now, I think this is a huge topic and an aspect of ourselves that can be quite difficult. It's a very difficult feeling to embody, but one that when we do truly embody it, gives us a lot of healing, a lot of self-healing. So the idea of forgiveness can be very, very challenging for us because many, if not all of us, have experienced traumatic events, we have painful memories as well in this lifetime as well as in past lives. And these events can trigger sort of really intense feelings that can feel really real for us in the moment. And, these are also things like any sort of type of abuse as well. So it can be really, really tricky for us to let go of these feelings. Now, our need for forgiveness can be in relation to a person, a loved one, a colleague, a group of people, even an organisation or a situation, but also, more importantly, ourselves as well. Self-forgiveness is also a huge part of our self-healing. And sometimes we do actually have the illusion of forgiveness because we bury these painful feelings. We think we've forgiven and we've forgotten, but we've simply buried or suppressed the painful feelings deep within us, only to find out years later that they're still kind of bubbling away under the surface. So, we need to be very aware, and we do actually need to have some sort of inner practice, like inner work with actually working with forgiveness to make sure that this is exactly what we've truly embodied. And this is what makes it difficult for us sometimes. Sometimes we even need to hit rock bottom. If you've had years of kind of coping and dealing with the aftermath of a traumatic experience, sometimes we need to hit that place of rock bottom, which is painful, but it also signifies that we're ready. We're in that place of receptivity and readiness to let go of that anger, that hurt, that resentment, those judgmental feelings, and so that we can forgive, and so that we can move forwards in a self-empowered way. So it's not a bad thing. It can feel painful. It can be really difficult to be in that place, but it means that we're ready to move forwards as well. Many of us have not been practiced in forgiveness. We don't really talk about it. We sort of say, maybe we need to forgive and forget, but we've never really been trained to forgive. How do we actually do it? So that's another big factor of why we find it difficult to do it. And I feel as well that and myself included, that sometimes we can be afraid to let go, and we can be afraid to forgive because we feel that it makes us weak and it makes us vulnerable to more hurt. Now that's another big factor as to why forgiveness can seem difficult for us. But what we need to remember, and I feel this is really significant, is that it's not about forgiving and forgetting, but it's about self-healing for ourselves primarily. Okay, so that we can clear our inner tension and our inner turmoil. That's what it's about. It's about self-healing for us so that we can move forward. It is a very powerful feeling, and it's one of the feelings I feel that the most difficult to embody, and it is a true mastery in the moment. It really is, when we're getting triggered and bringing up those feelings of resentment and anger. So what we essentially have to do is get out of our own way. We need to kind of let go of ego a little bit. Don't, not allow it to have so much power over us, and really to allow soul to lead. That's essentially what we need to do, so the ego takes the back seat and soul is in the driving seat. So when we haven't truly forgiven, we're basically holding on to the memory of the trauma, aren't we? We're holding on to that memory of the pain, and we're basically in the past reliving the pain, aren't we? And it becomes a part of who we are. And these memories, these painful memories, keep us locked into the patterning, and it colours everything we do. It colours what we believe in. It colours what we think, feel, say, act upon, our behaviours. It enters into everything. And Often what I see is that we use a mix of distraction or suppression or overwhelm to deal with those feelings when they come up, rather than introspection. It's anything rather than face those painful or fearful feelings, those uncomfortable feelings. And what happens is this eventually impacts on our physical body, and we basically become more and more disconnected from soul, and disempowered from our higher gifts, our soul gifts. So if we practice true forgiveness, what this does do also is not only gives us self-healing, which is huge, but it opens us up to our intuitive guidance more. It gives us clarity. It gives us discernment over which relationships are nourishing for us, which are depleting for us. We can also forgive, and remember, when we do choose to work with forgiveness, we can forgive, but we don't, it doesn't mean we have to spend loads of time with that person either. We can be we can keep our distance as well, but not have that feeling of resentment towards them anymore. So it's a really empowering thing to do. Now, as I've learned, simply setting our intent to forgive and forget doesn't work. It's not enough. It may kind of help you deal with some of the emotions in the moment, but it's not sustainable. We need to do our inner work, which I'm sure we realise, and as I keep saying, it is one of the hardest emotions to embody, or the thought of it is hard. But it's one of the most powerful acts of self-kindness to ourselves that we can give ourselves. And as I keep saying, self-healing comes from self-forgiveness, okay? It's really key to moving forwards and to our empowerment as well. Now, what actually happens is when we embody forgiveness, when we truly start to work with this feeling, we're moving into a deeper etheric chamber of the heart, okay? And we're enhancing our heart-based consciousness, and we're basically raising our vibration. This brings through a vibration of love. This is what happens. Our energy field is opening up. And this vibration, our energy fields, is of such a high frequency that density simply cannot exist. So again, this serves us as well.